Hello everyone, welcome to another video. I'm Randy, and this is another in my series where I go through each year and tell you my favorite album, my favorite song, my favorite movie, and my favorite television show. One caveat is that I have to have a physical copy in my collection in order to pick it. And with the television series, they are only eligible their debut season, but I'll take the whole series into consideration. So let's get to it. 1971. Album side, my fourth runner-up for Best Album 1971 is Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. This is a nice reissue put on 2 LPs. One of the most important soul albums that surveys America's problems, both social and ecological. Motown's musical geniuses, the Funk Brothers, furnished the instrumentation. You got classic tunes like the title track, Mercy, Mercy Me, The Ecology, Inner City Blues, Make Me Wanna Holler, and Save the Children. Just great soul album, Marvin Gaye. My third runner-up is Hunky Dory, David Bowie. Now this is my favorite Bowie album with 2 of my favorite Bowie songs in Life on Mars and Changes. It also has Oh You Pretty Things and Quicksand, among others. It has the amazing Mick Ronson on guitar, and Rick Wakeman joins in on piano. Hunky Dory, David Bowie. Now, 1971 was quite the year, as I've already had my favorite Marvin Gaye album, my favorite David Bowie album. Now how about my favorite Rod Stewart album, Every Picture Tells a Story. There you see Rod there. But yeah, this was a great year for Rod in that it produced what I think is his best album. And he also, his best album from his group, The Faces, with his Not as Good as a Wink to a Blind Horse. But this has maybe his biggest hit in the wonderful Maggie May. It has the excellent title track, a great cover of I Know I'm Losing You, which The Faces actually joined him on that song. A Tim Hardin cover in Reason to Believe. Tomorrow is a Long Time, a Bob Dylan cover, and the beautiful Mandolin Wind. Just full of excellent songs and musicianship. Rod Stewart's Every Picture Tells a Story. My first runner-up, Led Zeppelin Untitled, or some say Led Zeppelin 4. And this album has so many rock staples that were played on the rock radio, including Stairway to Heaven, which some thought was played too much, but I never got tired of it. Side 1 has the great rockers Black Dog and Rock and Roll, then the Battle of Evermore with Fairport Convention's Sandy Denny adding vocals with Plant, and then Stairway to Heaven. I don't know if there's a better side on a rock album. This album also closes with the great blues tune, When the Levee Breaks. Hard to think that there's a better rock album, but I do. I think there's one better, and that's my number 1. And what is my favorite album, 1971? It is The Who. And Who's Next? Maybe the best rock album of all time. It certainly has what could be the best opening and closing tracks with Baba O'Riley and Won't Get Fooled Again. Originally part of the Lifehouse Project, a concept album that was abandoned. This is Pete Townshend's best collection of songs. Plus it has My Wife, which I think is John Entwistle's best song. Every member is in top form here and has the innovative use of the synthesizers. Just an all-time classic. Won't Get Fooled Again. What am I say? Who's Next? With Won't Get Fooled Again. Now for my favorite song of 1971. My fourth runner-up is from Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. It's the title track and the opening track on the album. This song expresses concern over the social ills that were affecting the country at the time when the Vietnam War was raging, but also touched on equality issues. And it had a significantly different sound for a Motown record. What's Going On, Marvin Gaye. My third runner-up is Tupelo Honey from Van Morrison. Leads off side 2. I don't know if you can see that or not. But this title track off this wonderful album is just a beautiful, catchy, soulful tune, and one of Van's most romantic. You can see him with his wife at the time, Janet Planet. There and there. There they are again. But yeah, I love his phrasing. It's pure perfection. And for all of you hard rockers, it has Ronnie Montrose on guitar. Great tune, Tupelo Honey. Second runner-up for my favorite song of 1971, a Funky Dory, David Bowie, is the fourth track on here, Life on Mars. Ever since I watched the TV series that used this song, I've been obsessed with it. I actually saw the American version of the series first, which was a copy of the British series. I enjoyed both of the series, but it's my favorite Bowie song, and a song about escapism that has some of Bowie's best vocals, Life on Mars, my second runner-up. And my first runner-up is Rod Stewart's Every Picture Tells a Story, the lead-off track there. Another great title track and my favorite Rod Stewart song, written by Rod and Ronnie Wood, and it talks about Rod's dalliances from around the world. It's a rocking Stewart tune with Rod's voice in fine form and some great rock drumming by Mickey Waller. And Rolling Stone contributor Dave Marsh has said that Waller should have been given the Nobel Prize for Physics for his drumming on this song and album. Rod Stewart's Every Picture Tells a Story. For my number one song of 1971, I wanted to say it was a tie between Won't Get Fooled Again and Baba O'Riley, but I decided to only pick one new song, and it's actually going to be Baba O'Riley, the opening track, often mislabeled as Teenage Wasteland. This is an all-time album opener. The song was written after Townsend saw a field covered with garbage after the band's Isle of Wight Festival performance. It includes a wonderful Lowrey organ instrumental introduction, and all of the Who members seem to be moving as one, with Dave Arbus on violin on the outro. He was in the group East of Eden. In concert, they would use Roger Daltrey on harmonica to do the outro, but yeah. Baba O'Riley by The Who, my favorite song of 1971. Now for my favorite movie of 1971, the fourth runner-up, Diamonds Are Forever. Came in this box set I have. There are 4 volumes of it with the different Bond movies. With a lot of extras. They're all 2-disc ones with a lot of extra features. But yeah, Sean Connery was back as Bond, and Guy Hamilton was brought back as director, who had directed Goldfinger, and they also brought back Shirley Bassey to sing the theme song. So a lot of playfulness that was brought back with Diamonds Are Forever. You also got Jill St. John as the first American Bond girl who gets to run around in a bikini a lot. And you get Sean Connery getting in a lot of wry comments. What's not to like? Diamonds Are Forever, my fourth runner-up. My third runner-up is Dirty Harry, directed by Don Siegel. It's in this Clint Eastwood collection. 20 movies in there. One of Clint Eastwood's most well-known characters, and a film that spawned a series of movies. It's a very effective crime thriller and makes use of interesting San Francisco locales as he pursues a brash serial killer. The film was not without controversy as it dealt with the frustration of the police with red tape and also accused rights. Yeah, Dirty Harry, my third runner-up. And for my second runner-up for 1971, it's Harold and Maude, directed by Hal Ashby. Quirky, absurdist, dark comedy of a young man, played by Bud Cort, obsessed with death and finding an unlikely friend with similar interests in the much older Ruth Gordon. They do make an odd couple as they discover the ambiguities of life and what it teaches us. It's very charming and yet very eccentric. Not for everyone, but I really enjoyed it. Harold and Maude. My first runner-up is The French Connection, directed by William Friedkin. Great Gene Hackman. Great crime thriller with Gene Hackman exceptional as the hard-nosed Popeye Doyle as he goes after a drug smuggling ring. Friedkin's frequent use of handheld cinematography helps to push forward the action, especially one of the best car chase scenes ever on film. And it's not chasing another car, and you'll know what I mean if you've seen it. For my favorite film of 1971, it's Peter Bogdanovich's The Last Picture Show. There's Timothy Bottoms, Sybil Shepherd, and Jeff Bridges. Coming-of-age story set in a dying North Texas town, shot in beautiful black and white by cinematographer Robert Surtees. In a town where it seems like nothing happens, we follow the tribulations of some young teens trying to escape the futility, but often with heavy prices, especially with their romantic relationships. It also features Ben Johnson and Cloris Leachman as adults in the movie, which they both won Oscars. Just a masterpiece. The Last Picture Show. My favorite film of 1971. Favorite television show of 1971. My fourth runner-up is the British action-adventure series, The Persuaders. It stars Roger Moore as Lord Brett Sinclair and Tony Curtis as Bronx-born self-made millionaire, and they both team up to solve cases that the police are unable to. It's got music composed by John Barry and filmed in various countries. It was an expensive show to film, which may be why it only lasted one season. A little bit of The Saint, a little bit of James Bond, but a fun series, The Persuaders. My third runner-up is the series Nichols, starring James Garner, probably one of maybe the best TV actor. He was such a natural. But this was a short-lived TV series where he stars as a sheriff opposed to solving things through gunplay at the decline of the Old West as motor vehicles were becoming popular. It also had Margot Kidder in it, and also Stuart Margolin, who would go on to later star with him as Angel in the Rockford Files. Another fun series. Nichols, short-lived, but good series. My second runner-up is the Western series Alias Smith and Jones, starring Ben Murphy and Pete Duell. They're former outlaws that are given amnesty if they stay out of trouble and if they keep the deal a secret. The show had quite a bit of humor as the two try to stay on the straight and narrow. The show also had to deal with the sudden death of Pete Duell, who was quickly replaced by Roger Davis. But yeah, fun series, Alias Smith and Jones, my second runner-up. Runner-up is Cannon, one of the many detective series that came out in the 70s. This one starring William Conrad as an overweight detective, Frank Cannon, who often joked about it himself. He was also a gourmet cook, a war veteran, and a former police officer that was highly educated and used his book knowledge and street smarts to solve cases. Frank Cannon. It's my, first runner-up. And my favorite television show from 1971, and that's McMillan and Wife with Rock Hudson and Susan St. James. It's part of the rotating NBC mystery movie series. Hudson and St. James had an amazing chemistry as a loving couple, with Hudson starring as Stuart McMillan, the San Francisco police commissioner, with St. James as his wife, who often ends up in the middle of cases. It also had the great character actress Nancy Walker as their hard-drinking maid. It was a very fun series. We won't mention the last season, which was just called McMillan, as because of a contract dispute with St. James, they killed her off. That was a big mistake. Anyway, McMillan and Wife, my number one show of 1971. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, to see your picks as well, because that's what these lists are anyway. Just what shows that maybe you'd want somebody to check out or listen to, or maybe give a new listen if they already know of it. But anyway, thanks for everything, and see you in 1972.